Hello, welcome to the Squarebase Show. I'm your host, Rob. We're going to be looking at, or just having a quick chat, building the hype for a video that we'll be doing later in the week, where we'll be looking at the new Arcane Journal, the War for Cetra's Fury. But don't click off straight away, because this isn't only Tomb King themed. I think GW have done a pretty bad job of announcing that or talking about it. So straight off the bat, if you're a Tomb King fan, let me know if you plan on picking this up. And also, I'm very excited about the art. I think the art is very, very cool. But that's not the only thing that's in here. So let's talk about what's in here and what we'll be covering. Me and Val will be covering in a review later in the week. Cetra Imperishable continues to march through the border princes in order to reach Vaults, the range of mountains that sits on Bretonia's southern border, in a new 48-page Arcane Journal. So number one, it's pretty exciting because obviously with the launch of the Old World with Tomb Kings versus Bretonia, they were very much featured as one of the, or a main protagonist. Since then, we have seen definitely more protagonists enter the story, like Friedel seems to be a pretty key protagonist that we're seeing in the narrative. But we do have this very ongoing conversation about exactly what's happening in the Old World, which I'm pretty excited about, and seeing what Cetra does as to his invasion into the Border Princes and how the Border Princes maybe reacts is quite a fun snapshot of the lore and also being able to recreate some stories. I'm just in the process of painting 24 hills for our next event that we've got this weekend. So but as I was doing it, which is already a miserable task, I was already very excited about the idea of, because this popped up as I was doing it, very excited about the idea of potentially painting a bunch of ziggurats or designing like a kind of Tomb King board. But then I said to myself, that's actually the wrong place. That's the wrong area. That's not where the fight is. Like, what do Tomb Kings look like in the Border Princes, like in grassy, hilly areas? So I was pretty excited about that. I thought it was quite a fun concept. And also, what does it look like when Tomb Kings have taken over an area like that? For instance, there's going to be an area where they they're going to invade some dwarfs and they're going to hold some dwarfs hostage. That's pretty fun. What does like Tomb King smashing and taking over Dwarven Carrack look like? Pretty cool, especially for me. I like terrain. I like the idea of what they would look like. I like the idea of recreating these little battles. I love these snapshots of the areas. I think that's fun. Okay. This supplement contains background lore on the War of the Border Princes, as well as rules for Battle March, a new high-speed game mode for 500 to 750 point games, with force limitations, 3 deployment maps, and changes to scoring. Now, obviously, the event that I'm painting the hills for this weekend is a foray event, which is a 500-point format game system. It's 4 rounds, and you just play it over the course of a day. Pretty popular. Like, the event sold out in minutes, and it's the second one I've done. And they seem to be popping up all over England, at least. And there's a link on thehonestwargamer.com. You can go find it. Search for Foray, F-O-R-A-Y. There's a link to like a free download, free PDF download. There's also some cards you can buy as well. But there's a free PDF, so you never have to pay for a thing. It's all free. So that's out there already. It's nice to see. I'm really excited to see what Games Workshop's version of that looks like, especially the concept of like some sort of escalation. This doesn't seem like it's escalation based and it's just only for a range between 500 and 750 points. But I think that's actually pretty cool in a format, or like, you know, if you're running a local club, hey, everyone, we're going to get together. We're going to play 500 points this week. And then in a month's time, we're going to do 750 points. That means you don't have to add too much, paint too much in these kind of escalation leagues. And seeing as, even though what I'm going to talk about in the stat show in another video, I'm going to talk about the fact that we've entered this kind of maturing phase of the Old World, especially for the community. We've started to get larger events. We've started to get things like World Team Championships that are starting to bring the community aspect of it on par with, you know, other game systems from Games Workshop. I won't mention any in case people kick off. Because we're starting to bring them on par, that does mean that we're going to be going through a lot of growing pains. And also some people are going to be super, super excited about building up their local communities. I know there's lots of people in one of the other videos that we did where people said, I really want to play more Old World, but there's just no one in my local area to play. Well, 500 points in, 750 points in is a pretty good buy-in. It's not as expensive. You know, you could hobby that up in a reasonable amount of time. And even if that's as far as you ever wanted to go, do kind of 500, 750 point clashes where now you've got 500 points of Beastmen, you've got 500 points of High Elves, you've got 500 points of Chaos Dwarfs, the best faction. Then you're having a good time. And actually, that is pretty much all the hobby some people want to do. And I don't blame them. It's a lot of hobby to do 2,000, 2,600 points, 2,200 points if you're a Steam Tank enjoyer. It's really, there's like it's a lot of points to commit to. So I think this is really exciting to see this coming out of GW, because they're recognizing that. Would have been nice to have got this a year and a half ago, but who am I to complain? Okay. On top of that, there's also the new Tomb Kings and Khemri rules for the monstrous mounts and incantations of the mortuary cult, as well as 2 armies of infamy. So monstrous mounts is interesting. So that's going to be the ability to take the War Sphinx as a mount. I think so. Or we're going to get the winged War Sphinx, something like that. One of those two, I think, is what you're going to end up seeing from that. And then also the mortuary cult upgrade sounds like it's going to be really exciting. A bunch of scrolls that you're going to be able to use once per battle and pay for extra points for means you're going to be able to tool up those like characters in your army with even more kind of like singular instance upgrades to affect your game, which I think is pretty clutch. So we'll have to see how good they are. Now, the other armies of infamy is Renegade Crowns for the Empire and Man and Slayer Host for the Dwarven Mountain Holds. Now, I know for a fact, obviously, Slayers are super popular, but they aren't actually very good. It will be very fun to see them get some sort of like real quality, well thought out distribution of abilities to play the main game, especially as the game itself is currently in this growing stage as well, where are you playing with many objectives on the board? Feels like that's the right call. Talk about that more in the stat show, but it does feel like you should be using lots of objectives, because the changes that we saw in 1.5 were very geared towards sword and board infantry holding objectives. Don't include any objectives, then what are you doing? It's a great point. With Slayer holds, they're not really good at standing around. Okay. Well, they're not very good at standing around and holding something. That's not really their plan. Plan is to go out there and kill. So it'll be really interesting to see if they build them to be much more functional as a fighting infantry army, when generally fighting infantry armies aren't as strong as holding infantry armies. So I think that'll be fun. Renegade's Crowns, I'm also very excited about as well as an Empire fan. I think that could be very, very fun. This probably is going to include a bunch of out there units, but what's important is this is not the much rumored Dogs of War additional set of rules, which is what we were expecting to see. We're expecting to see Dogs of War sometime soon. These may relate to Dogs of War. These may be able to hire Dogs of War, but I don't think these are the Dogs of War. I don't think that's what we're going to see, which is exciting, because it not being in here and this being something else completely different is cool, because it does mean that we're going to be able to get Dogs of War. Maybe that's the next Arcane Journal that will get announced in a few weeks' time. So I'm pretty excited about that as well. So I'm excited about reading that one, and I'm excited that we're going to get Dogs of War in the future. So I wouldn't be too upset if you were hyped for Dogs of War. But like I said, I think GW have been pretty bad at expressing this is something other than a Tomb King release, because it's not. This is a Dwarf release. It's also an Empire release. And that's pretty cool. There's a lot of fun extra stuff to throw into the game in just a small 48-page book. Also, they obviously have got these amazing new models. The Lich Priests on foot and mounted, I think is pretty good. The Lich Priests, so here they are. What do you think about them is kind of the first question. I really like the Lich Priest on foot. I think it looks amazing. But I think it's at this stage we can all admit that no matter how good the designer, no matter how hard you try, skeleton horses just aren't the one. They're not good enough. I don't think. Like, I can take like a desiccated horse or a zombie horse or like a demon horse, all great. But I think skeleton horses, no matter how hard you try, just look goofy as fuck. It's so goofy. So that one, I'm not that bothered about. I think they need to revisit that. If it was like a wrapped up mummy horse, I think that would be much cooler. That would be much cooler. And then we've also got the Royal Heralds. So you got a big banner. You got a big banner, which I think looks great as well, and another skeleton horse. This one skeleton horse doesn't look as bad, but still not great. That's an amazing banner to throw also into the Tomb King army. Although at this point, I'm pretty certain every Tomb King player obviously has an amazing banner that they've kit bashed, so I think that's pretty exciting as well. So yeah, the new kit builds, plastic tomb prints, and the Royal Herald with your choice of which one, and including two-hand weapons, empty hand, left-hand options, etc., etc. This does feel like something that they have done. Obviously, this is mirrored to what we see from the Cathay release as well. They've done this several times over the course of the edition now, so this is pretty cool. If you bought two, you would end up with a character, mounted character, and also a mounted banner, and also a foot character, and a just a foot character, and then a foot banner. And I think some people might say these packs are a little bit miserly because of that, because it would be cool if you got like the extra banner so you could build two of your choice. I don't know. Like, you buy two, you end up with all the options you could ever want from your army, which I think is pretty exciting. So yeah, pretty fun. I'm pretty pumped about this one. I think I'm pretty pumped about this one because I'm excited to see what like these new trickled out, if you've watched the last video that we did where we talked about what the future might look like, what these kind of trickled out new ideas. Are these ideas for armies and extra rules that got left on the cutting room floor during the first edit of like Arcane Journals or even the Grand Armies, or are they these additional things they want to add in? And is this kind of an idea of what we might see in the future? Hopefully, we're going to see a lot more like expansive stuff as it goes. But if we get these regularly, every couple of months, maybe, I mean, I wouldn't mind one of these every month. That's just that's my opinion. In fact, actually, that's where I'm going to end the video. I'm going to ask you how often you'd like to see Arcane Journals of this quality. Would you like them to be very common? Once a month, every quarter, every half a year? I personally think that's not enough. There's always this kind of weird factor between the audience where they want loads and they don't want enough. I think Old World is a game about imagination and creativity and recreating fantasy battles. So I personally don't think you can give me enough content. That's my opinion. Some people won't agree. I guess they're talking about it from a tournament balance, keeping your head in the game perspective, which just keep up then. It's your responsibility. You're the one who wanted to play at that level. I'm very happy with discovering that someone is playing a new Slayer army and asking them what it does and playing against it. It'll still take you a long time to build and paint and put on the table anyway. So I'm not too stressed and think it's going to overly impact me in the next couple of days or weeks. So yeah, let me know what you think. Me personally, I'm a content fiend. I want more content all the time. I hope you enjoyed this video, a bit of a hype video leading up to our review soon. And also, if there's anything you'd like us to cover in any detail in the review, don't forget, we have done both a Tomb King deep dive and also a Tomb King Arcane Journal review over the past few weeks, leading into this Arcane Journal. So now, you should be really caught up, or you can go back and watch them and you should be really caught up leading into this. Thanks for watching, stay square based, and I'll see you soon.